We begin at a local harbor where we see Tyler and his date Margot waiting for a boat to pick them up. They have plans to eat dinner at a very exclusive and private island called Hawthorne, which is ran by the best chef in the country, Julian Slowick. While the couple is waiting, they are excited to see all of the other famous guests going with them.
Lillian Bloom. Oh my god.
Who's Lillian Bush?
She basically discovered Slowick.
Washed up actor George with his assistant, or maybe girlfriend Felicity, a group of young tech startup investors. The last ones that arrive catch Margot's attention, which are businessmen Richard and his wife Anne. Margot gets worried as she knows Richard from her past. As soon as the boat arrives, they are served the first of many delicate dishes. We quickly learn that Tyler is an extreme foodie and studies everything fine dining in general, which weirds Margot out even more. They finally arrive at the island, and we see the maitre d' Elsa do introductions. She gets stopped when she calls Margot a different name, and Tyler explains how there was a change of plans so he came with another date. Way to be smooth, Tyler. Before dining, the group is taken on a tour of the island. Elsa shows the guests all the facilities while explaining how strict it is to be a chef at Hawthorne, explaining how they hunt and gather everything used in the kitchen, and because of this commitment they all live together. We get a glimpse of the chef's home, which is separated from the rest of the facilities and is off limits. They finally enter the restaurant and can see the beautiful open layout showing the ocean view and chefs working hard to prepare their meal. There is also an old lady in the corner named Linda, who is by herself and looks like she doesn't belong at all. As they are taking their seats, Richard also notices Margot and quickly asks his wife to switch so that he can have a better view. Now that was slick. Tyler take notes. Elsa lets everyone know that they are allowed to watch the cooks work but are not allowed to take any pictures. Tyler goes up to ask the chefs questions about the meal and specific culinary techniques, but is told to take his seat as they need to work. But really, he is just annoying.
Do you make that with a Paco jet?
Exactly right, sir.
You know, a Paco jet can produce a powderized, snow-like texture.
Why don't you take your seat?
Right after, we see Chef Slowick arrive and Elsa tells him something that makes him stare eerily at Margot. We find out that Tyler had reserved a table at the restaurant about a year ago, but at that time, he was in a relationship with someone else. This explains Slowick's stare by the sound of a bell, which is alarmed by Slowick coming forward and clapping his hands, where we also see all the cooks behind him line up like minions. Interesting. Slowick reminds the guests to really enjoy the food and savor the flavors, and gets interrupted by Tyler.
This is what the guy was fishing for earlier.
Sorry.
As the course is presented, Tyler continued to take photos of the food, despite being told not to, which Elsa notices. The second course is introduced by yet another clap and speech combo, where Slowick explains that bread is the food of the common man, and since his guests are not the common man they will not get any bread. So course number 2 is a tasting plate of 6 unique sauces, without bread. Tyler finds this fantastic, where Margot thinks that it is insulting. Lillian believes that the emulsion looks slightly split, and with irony they send a bowl of it to her table. The businessmen find this amusing yet ridiculous and try to demand for bread where they are denied. This makes them threaten Elsa that if she does not comply, they will shut the restaurant down as they are friends with the guy who funded it. Elsa still refuses and tells them that they will eat the food they are served, and creepily says,
"You will eat less than you desire and more than you deserve."
Margot hates the concept and refuses to eat, so Tyler reaches to take her plate but accidentally breaks a glass in the process. This attracts Slowick to their table. Tyler tries to apologize but the chef's attention is towards Margot, and he asks why she is not eating. She says that there is no food, and he says that the menu is specifically designed to satisfy everyone's hunger, but she still refuses. He leaves the table rather annoyed and goes to the mysterious lady's table, who is revealed to be Slowick's mother. Margot can't help but turn back to look at Richard, which Anne notices, pointing out that she reminds her of their dead daughter. Richard pushes that he does not know her and asks Anne to change the subject. Here comes the third course, which is called Memory. Slowick tells the story of his family taco nights and opens up about his past. He elaborates how his father was a drunk and one night tried to kill his mother with a phone cord to her neck. Slowick protected his mom by stabbing his father in the leg with scissors and regrets not killing him that night. To relive the experience, the third course dish is a smoked chicken thigh, placed on top of a phone cord impaled by mini scissors. The course also includes a side of tortillas, each of which is uniquely laser engraved with images for each guest.
We hope this taco night evokes strong memories for us all.
Already disturbed by the chef's story, the guests are further shocked and riddled with confusion as they come to find out their tortillas are engraved with bad memories and condemning evidence. Lillian sees images of all the restaurants that have closed down from her bad reviews, and is shocked to see images of her husband's private life, one showing him with a younger girl, which he insists is a bit. George is confused when he sees one of his old movies that did poorly, and the young entrepreneurs all see their company's tax records, which show the fraud they have committed. They immediately call Elsa over and ask how they got this information and threaten to close again, which Elsa says,
"No, that won't be necessary. Enjoy."
Tyler sees himself taking photos of the food, which makes him think Slowick hates him. Margot finds the whole ordeal insulting and wants to send the food back, which makes Tyler snap at her for not behaving correctly. Margot gets hurt and gets up to go to the bathroom and notices a forbidden room, which Elsa stops her from entering at the last moment. In the bathroom, Margot props up by the window to have a smoke and sees a cook walking outside with a pair of angel wings. Slowick enters the bathroom and confronts Margot on why she won't eat, but Margot just says that she is not hungry. He asks her who she actually is and she responds that she is just Margot, but Slowick isn't convinced. Back at the restaurant, Chef introduces the next course with his sous chef Jeremy. Jeremy studied at a prestigious culinary school and has always wanted to work for Slowick, and while Slowick says he has talent, he is not great. Slowick goes on about how even though Jeremy may want a life of prestige like him, Slowick elaborates on how his life is just full of pressure and critique from unhappy customers that don't appreciate his food. Shots fired Margot. Slowick asks Jeremy if he wants his life, and when Jeremy says no, Slowick kisses him. Jeremy pulls out a gun and takes his own life. This is the mess. All of the guests freak out. Tyler sits back and enjoys it. Slowick tells everyone to sit down and enjoy the show, but the guests try to leave. Richard has had enough.
We're leaving. No.
I have to get my wrap.
Forget your wrap.
He demands a boat to be sent back home, and Elsa replies that there is no boat. Richard still insists, which causes Elsa to have the guards take his ring finger. The guests freak out even more and are warned that they will receive a much worse punishment if they even think about ruining the chef's planned menu. Tyler doesn't mind and continues savoring his meal. Chef urges the guests to sit back as this is part of the experience. Lillian accepts it, however, the others are not buying it. Felicity tells George to talk to Slowick since they are so-called great friends, but George admits that he lied to impress her and doesn't actually know him. Slowick tells Margot to follow him to the kitchen where he tells her that she doesn't belong with the other guests, that she isn't truly a Margot, and that she does not fit in the original menu plan. He asks her if she wants to be on the side of the guests or the staff.
The question is, do you want to die with those who give or with those who take?
Regardless of choice doesn't matter because they will all die tonight. Slowick gives her 15 minutes to decide. Frightened, Margot returns to her table in tears and slaps Tyler when he starts talking about the food. Soren tries to pull a quick move and break the glass window with his chair, to no avail. The next course is presented and Slowick asks the now captive guests if they have any questions. Tyler asks a stupid question about the tea.
Is this bergamot I'm getting, Chef?
Yes, it is.
While George gets up and asks what is the true reason for all of this. Slowick explains he was perfecting his craft to serve his guests for years but has now grown tired of running his restaurant. He explains how every guest there tonight is responsible for this in some way. Meanwhile, Elsa brings Margot a timer saying she has 10 minutes to decide. Slowick says that he finally understands the reality of his creation, that he has been building his restaurant for so long to satisfy people that can't be satisfied. Bryce calls Slowick out for saying that it is his restaurant, when really the place belongs to their boss, Doug Varick. Slowick replies that he owns Doug, the angel who funded his restaurant. He points everyone's attention to the window, where we can see Doug Varick suspended over the water with angel wings attached to him. He says that Doug only cared about the profits and money and repeatedly questioned his menu.
There are no substitutions at Hawthorne!
Elsa makes a sign with her arms and Doug starts getting lowered into the water to drown. Everybody watches in horror. Moments later, the timer on Margot's table rings and she follows Slowick to his office to give her answer. She says that she shouldn't be here, which Slowick says that he knows and can tell she is an industry worker. He wants to know why Margot kept staring at Richard, where she admits that she works the streets. She said that Richard was one of the few bizarre clients she had because he wanted her to role play as his now dead daughter. Slowick empathizes with Margot as they talk about how they used to enjoy serving people but bad clients have left a bad taste for them.
I haven't desired to cook for someone in ages, and one does miss that feeling.
Afterwards, the group is taken outside where the next course is presented by sous chef Catherine. She tells a creepy story about how Slowick has tried to sleep with her many times and she has always said no. Because of her rejection, Slowick did not fire her but would not look her in the eyes. This is the man's folly. The next course gets introduced, with Catherine stabbing Slowick in the leg with scissors. All of the male guests are given a chance to escape. They will have a head start of 45 seconds then will be chased by the guards. Catherine takes all of the women inside to eat the course, and explains that the concept where everyone dies was her idea. Damn. And asks Margot if she knows her husband, and Margot says she does. Now that everyone is opening up, Margot also mentions that her real name is actually Erin.
My name is not Margot, it's Erin.
Very quickly, the guards catch all of the male guests one by one with no issue. All the men are returned to the restaurant. George apologizes to Felicity for being a failure, which makes her admit that she has been stealing money from him.
I wrote a negative recommendation to Sony.
I know you CC'd me on it.
Slowick calls everyone and says that the menu cannot continue without resolving another issue. He walks up to Tyler and asks him if he knew that everyone would die tonight, which he says yes. He hired Margot to save his reservation, not caring about the fact that she would die. This makes Erin so angry that she lunges across the table to hit Tyler, but is pulled back. Slowick sarcastically praises Tyler for his culinary knowledge and gives him a proper chef's uniform, which makes him happy. Then forces him into the kitchen to cook for everyone. Tyler has no skills and his dish comes out terrible. In front of everyone, Slowick says that people like Tyler are the reason why the mystery of his art is gone. He whispers something creepily in Tyler's ear which causes him to take off the jacket and leave the room. room. Slowick pulls Aaron aside and asks if she can fetch a barrel with an ingredient for dessert, saying that Elsa forgot to bring it. As she's walking out, she sees in a back room that Tyler has ended his own life, to which she doesn't care. Aaron arrives at the smokehouse to grab the barrel, but instead grabs a knife. She sees Slowick's house in the distance and sneakily makes her way. His home is an exact replica of the restaurant, but with a bed in it. As she is trying to enter the secret silver door, she gets caught by Elsa, who attacks Aaron with a knife, saying that she does not want to be replaced. They end up on the floor. Elsa says that she did not forget the barrel, which swiftly ends in Elsa getting killed. Aaron grabs Elsa's keys and opens the silver door. She finds what looks to be a bunch of nostalgic memories from Slowick's past. Of all the pictures and articles that appear sad and angry, she notices one where he has a big smile, a photo of him as a teenager working at a job making burgers. Aaron also sees a radio in the room, which she uses to call for help. Back in the restaurant, we see Bryce with a cake, as he told the staff that it was his birthday. Worst birthday ever, lol. Aaron breaks through the main door with the barrel and sits down with Slowick. Because of the pressure from people, he feels no pain, which he shows by holding his hand over a flame. At that moment, sirens can be heard outside as a rescue boat approaches the island. Good job, Margot. Aaron, I don't know anymore. The restaurant staff immediately clean up the restaurant and take everyone to their seats. Coast Guard Dale enters the restaurant and asks what the issue is, but no one answers. Dale notices George and asks for an autograph since he's a big fan of his movie. Guess which one? As he's about to leave, he looks at the autograph George wrote to find that it is a note asking for help. Dale takes out his gun and points it at Slowick. Everyone is so relieved. This was short-lived as Dale turned around and pointed the gun at the candle on Aaron's table, revealing it is just a lighter shaped like a gun. Dale is not actually a Coast Guard but is just another member of the staff. Slowick calls out Aaron for betraying him and tells her that she is as bad as the other guests. Aaron takes a risk and decides to make a last-minute effort to save her life. She makes a loud cry, just as the chef did before each course, announcing that she doesn't like his food and would like to send it back. Aaron says that the menu was not food but was just stupid exercises, while mentioning that he has taken the joy out of eating. So Slowick asks her what she would like, and without hesitation requests a proper American cheeseburger with some fries, and nothing more. Slowick's eyes lit up and for the first time we saw him smile and agree to a request. All the cooks watch closely as Slowick begins nostalgically making the traditional cheeseburger. For a moment we see passion radiating from the chef. With pride, Slowick brings the burger to Aaron, who gives it a big bite as well as her approval.
Now that is a cheeseburger.
She says that she is actually more full than she thought and asked if she can take it to go. Slowick pauses for a moment, but agrees and packages it up for her. Before heading out, Aaron leaves a $10 bill on the table and starts walking out, only to hesitate and turn towards the rest of the group that are still all about to die, and gestures to her that she should go. Aaron arrives at the boat that Dale left behind. At the restaurant, Slowick says that it is time to pay. The price is $1,250 per person with a no-tip system, and everyone gets a goodie bag, each with one of Doug Varick's fingers. And it's time for dessert. The cooks decorate the entire floor as if it was a plate, even putting chocolate hats and marshmallow vests over the guests. Slowick thanks the guests for dining, and reminds them that each of them are the reason for the destruction of his art and life, which they now get to be a part of. He compares this to the worst food creation, the s'more, as s'mores are typically prepared over a fire. Slowick grabs hot coal from the oven with his bare hands and says farewell as he throws it on the floor, creating a fire that takes over the restaurant. The guests accept their fate and conclude the crazy evening. Meanwhile, we see Erin now on the fleeing boat watching the restaurant burn. She takes a seat and starts eating her cheeseburger. I'm glad that I didn't get invited. I still give this movie a 93%. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this.